You do not have a negative personality. You have a brain that has been trained to repeat negative patterns. If you have spent years worrying, doubting yourself, comparing your life to others, expecting the worst, or replaying stressful situations in your mind, your brain has simply become good at doing those things. That does not mean you are broken. It does not mean you are weak. It means your brain is following the path it has practiced the most. But here is the important part. If your brain can be trained into negative thinking, it can also be trained out of it. With the right daily habits, you can teach your mind to become calmer, more balanced, and more controlled. Negative thinking is not your identity. It is a pattern, and patterns can be changed. And the reason your brain falls into negative thinking so easily is because it was designed to look for danger. Your brain is always scanning for problems, risks, mistakes, and anything uncertain. A long time ago, this helped humans survive. If the brain noticed danger quickly, the body had a better chance to stay alive. But today, most of the dangers your brain reacts to are not wild animals or real physical threats. They are emails, bills, opinions, social media comparisons, awkward conversations, future worries, and fear of failure. So, when you overthink, replay conversations, imagine the worst, or feel anxious about something that has not happened yet, your brain is not trying to ruin your life. It is trying to protect you using an old survival system in a modern world. The problem is that this system can become too sensitive. It starts treating normal stress like danger. And once you understand that, you can stop blaming yourself and start training your brain to respond differently. And this is where most people make a mistake. They think the solution is to force themselves to think positive. But if your mind is full of fear, stress, or self-doubt, simply saying, "everything is fine," often does not work. Your brain does not believe it. The real goal is not to delete every negative thought or replace every fear with fake positivity. The real goal is control. You are learning to notice a negative thought without automatically following it. A thought can appear in your mind, but that does not mean you have to believe it, obey it, or let it control your next action. This is emotional intelligence, not suppressing what you feel, but creating a small space between the feeling and your reaction. Instead of reacting immediately, you pause. Instead of becoming the thought, you observe it. That is the shift from automatic reaction to conscious response. And once you can create that space, negative thinking begins to lose its power over you. So how do you actually train your brain to stop following negative thoughts? You do it through a simple 30-day process built on 3 steps: awareness, interruption, and replacement. First, you become aware of the negative thought. You notice it instead of letting it run in the background. Then, you interrupt the automatic loop before it pulls you deeper into overthinking. Finally, you replace the extreme negative thought with something more realistic and balanced. This works because your brain does not change from one big emotional moment. It changes through small actions repeated again and again. Every time you notice, pause, and choose a better response, you are teaching your brain a new path. Over time, that new path becomes easier to follow. That is how real mental rewiring begins. For the first 7 days, do not try to fix your negative thoughts yet. Just observe them. This may sound too simple, but it is the foundation of the whole process. Most negative thinking feels powerful because it happens automatically. You do not even notice the moment it begins. Suddenly, you are overthinking, imagining the worst, criticizing yourself, or replaying something that happened earlier. So during week 1, your only job is to catch the pattern. When a negative thought appears, gently label it in your mind. This is negative thinking. Do not judge it. Do not fight it. Do not blame yourself for having it. Just notice it. The moment you can observe a thought, you create distance from it. And when there is distance, the thought has less control over you. You are no longer completely inside the storm. You are beginning to watch the storm from the outside. During week 2, once you can notice negative thoughts, the next step is to interrupt the loop. But interruption does not mean arguing with your thoughts. If your mind says, something bad is going to happen, and you start debating with it, you may only give the thought more attention and make it stronger. Instead, interrupt the loop through your body. Take one slow breath. Relax your shoulders. Change your posture. Look around the room and name what you see. Stand up. Walk for a moment. Move your body slightly. These small physical actions send a new signal to your brain. Your mind and body are connected, so when your body changes state, your thoughts can lose momentum. The goal is not to delete the negative thought instantly. The goal is to slow it down before it pulls you deeper. Think of it like pressing pause on a video that was playing automatically. That pause gives you a chance to choose what happens next. During week 3, you begin replacement. But this does not mean forcing yourself to say fake positive sentences that your brain does not believe. If something goes wrong and you tell yourself everything is perfect, your mind will probably reject it immediately. Replacement means taking an extreme negative thought and turning it into something more neutral, realistic, and believable. For example, if your mind says, "I always mess things up," you can replace it with, "I made a mistake this time." If your mind says, "This is going to fail," you can replace it with, "I do not know the outcome yet." Notice the difference. You are not pretending life is perfect. You are simply correcting the distortion. You are teaching your brain to stop turning one mistake into your whole identity and stop turning uncertainty into guaranteed failure. This kind of realistic thinking is much easier for your brain to accept, and over time, it becomes the new pattern. During week 4, the goal is to make the new pattern stronger until it starts becoming more natural. This is where small daily habits matter. You do not need a complicated routine. You just need tiny actions repeated every day. In the morning, take 30 seconds and set one simple intention. Today, I will notice and interrupt negative thinking. During the day, keep practicing the same 3 steps. Notice the thought, interrupt the loop, and replace it with something realistic. Then at night, take 1 minute to review your day. Ask yourself, where did I catch a negative thought? Where did I pause instead of reacting? Where did I still fall back into the old pattern? Do not overthink the answers. This is not about judging yourself. It is about teaching your brain through repetition. Every short review strengthens the new loop. And by the end of 30 days, your negative thoughts may not disappear completely, but your relationship with them will begin to change. You will react less automatically, recover faster, and feel more in control of your own mind. This method works because your brain learns through repetition. Every time you think the same way, your brain strengthens that mental path. If you have spent years repeating worry, self-doubt, fear, and worst-case thinking, those paths become easier for your brain to follow. It is like walking the same trail in the forest every day. The more you walk it, the clearer it becomes. But when you start noticing the thought, you stop walking that path automatically. When you interrupt the loop, you slow down the old pattern. And when you replace the thought with something more realistic, you begin creating a new path. At first, the new path feels weak and unfamiliar. But if you repeat it every day, it becomes stronger. That is how brain rewiring happens. Not through one burst of motivation, but through small, consistent repetitions that teach your brain a new way to think. But there are a few common mistakes that keep people stuck in negative thinking. The first mistake is expecting results too quickly. 30 days can start the change, but it will not erase years of mental conditioning overnight. The second mistake is trying to remove every negative thought completely. That is not realistic. The goal is not to never have negative thoughts. The goal is to stop letting those thoughts control your reactions. The third mistake is skipping awareness and jumping straight into replacement. If you do not clearly see the pattern, you cannot truly change it. And the fourth mistake is inconsistency. Your brain does not rewire because you try very hard one time. It rewires because you repeat the new pattern again and again. So be patient. Do not chase perfection. Focus on showing up every day, even in small ways, because consistency is what teaches your brain to change. After 30 days, negative thoughts may not disappear completely, and that is okay. The real change is not that your mind becomes silent forever. The real change is that you respond differently. You begin to notice overthinking earlier, before it becomes a full spiral. You catch yourself before reacting automatically. You feel less mentally drained because you are no longer following every thought to the end. When a negative moment happens, you recover faster instead of staying trapped in it for hours or days. You also start trusting your mind more because you understand that a thought is not always a fact. This is emotional control. It is not suppression. It is not pretending everything is fine. It is the ability to feel something, notice it, and choose your response instead of being controlled by the first reaction. And in the end, the daily system is simple. Notice your thoughts. Interrupt the loop. Replace the thought with something more realistic. Then repeat it every day. You do not need a complicated method to begin changing your mind. You need a small process that you can actually practice when negative thinking appears. When you notice the thought, you stop being controlled by it. When you interrupt the loop, you slow down the automatic reaction. When you replace it with something realistic, you teach your brain a better way to respond. And when you repeat this daily, your brain slowly learns a new pattern. This is how you stop being trapped by every negative thought. Not by forcing fake positivity, but by training your mind one small response at a time. In the end, stopping negative thinking is not about becoming a person who never has negative thoughts. It is about becoming someone who no longer gets controlled by every thought that appears. Your mind may still create fear, doubt, or worst-case scenarios, but now you know what to do. You notice the thought. You interrupt the loop, you replace it with something realistic, and you repeat the process until your brain learns a calmer way to respond. This is how real change happens. Not through pressure, not through fake positivity, but through small daily practice. Your brain has learned old patterns through repetition, and it can learn new patterns the same way. So start today. Catch one thought, pause one time, choose one better response. That small moment is where your mental freedom begins. If this video helped you understand how to stop negative thinking and train your brain in a practical way, make sure to like this video so more people can find it. And if you want more simple videos about self-discipline, emotional control, mental clarity, brain training, and personal growth, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Remember, your mind is always learning. The question is, are you teaching it to follow fear, or are you teaching it to follow control?